Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Cyber Prophets. Cyber Prophets, the podcast where we are prophesizing the future of technology. I am here once again with my co-host and brother from another mother, Federico.
Welcome everyone. Hopefully you're going to learn interesting things about GitHub Copilot this time.
Exactly, Federico. Last week, we introduced our audience to the topic of GitHub Copilot, what that is, and how can we, software developers, take advantage of it. And we also promise you to make a test. And what was this test, Federico?
To create a tic-tac-toe in real time using GitHub Copilot. Let's see if it's faster than ChatGPT or if it's, let's say, slower.
Exactly. That's something very important. We're gonna create this tic-tac-toe using GitHub Copilot. And a couple of weeks ago, when we did a live run of ChatGPT, we also created a tic-tac-toe using this tool. So at the end of this video, we will compare how is it creating a tic-tac-toe with ChatGPT and how it is it created with GitHub Copilot. First, just as a small recapitulation of what we saw last week, GitHub Copilot is this programming companion that helps you to write better code, and it extracts basically information about the context to help you and to offer you suggestions about how can you complete the code. And in some cases, it can even create like entire functions, right? Something important about this tool is that nowadays it's only available on a subscription basis. We created a subscription, we subscribe to it, it's $10 monthly or $100 yearly. We subscribe to it to test it, and now let's go for it. So, Federico, let's start with the tic-tac-toe.
Sure. We're going to create it in Visual Studio Code. And the first part is to create an index.html. Let's say that I'm going to add some context to what I wanted to do and implement a tic-tac-toe. Then let's see. We create the first tags. Oops, made a mistake. Did that already the title. Then we're going to see the body. Provide us with some code. It provides a potential script. And as you can see, in real time, it's creating everything. I'm not technically doing too much.
Okay.
I'll let him provide what he thinks. And as you saw, I only provide like some context, to be honest. It was interesting, and voila, I got even the full code.
Oh, wow.
It's quite extreme to my opinion. And it's even providing more code. I'm not so sure if it's going to work because we have to be honest first.
Yeah, this is what we're going to test, right?
I need to create this board, this winner div, this BR, this button, the next button. I'm not so sure what it's doing.
Okay, I think I kind of got it.
I'm wondering if something else is missing.
I will say it is, yeah.
Second,
You have like 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. So I will expect it to end on 2, 2, probably. So
let's give him some context. Oh yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I was expecting as well.
In theory, we have, I guess, the majority of the code. Probably it's telling me that something is missing, I think. Or I can see an error here. Expected. Oh yeah. There's a function missing. Let's go live to see what it created.
Okay. Ah, interesting design. Oh, there you go. Player 0 wins.
Yeah.
Refresh it and make a draw. Make them draw.
Player X wins. Let's see if it can implement something differently a new time. Just to analyze what options does he thinks he can create. See a new head, new tic-tac-toe, new body, new script, new.
This is different, right?
Yeah, I think it's different.
Yeah.
It's like
I also think it looks different. So what does it do? Is it like suggesting you different code every time?
Yeah, because the application has like a very peculiar characteristic that every code is completely unique. So you will not have open source issues or something like that with the licenses.
Mm-hmm.
Technically speaking, you have like every code is completely different. It's almost impossible that you will see the same code twice. It's even, I would say, significantly differently. It's significant.
Yeah.
I'm using math this time. I was wondering what is like.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if it's even creating the code or like the lines or what exactly is creating. That code
It's an
looks
arc.
wild.
Okay.
Looks very wild code, this one. The other one seemed more like for beginners, let's call it.
Is there a way, like, instead of going line by line, that you could get like the whole piece of code at once?
I'm not so sure about it. I don't think it allows me. In some cases, it's like if you have a second code, yeah, it allows it, but not in this case.
Because it would be great if you could like basically autocomplete the whole thing at once instead of going line per line.
Here
We
is,
have a canvas now. Oh, that one looks prettier.
yeah, and it's completely new.
Player 1 wins. Oh yeah, it's the X. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is wilder because it really created a lot of HTML code using full JavaScript.
Make them draw. Make them draw.
Hmm.
There. Yeah, yeah, there. Draw. Ah, okay. Yeah. So it worked.
Yeah, let's check for the next case. Player 2
Yes,
win.
player 2 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it's working correctly.
And if we compare it with ChatGPT, ChatGPT took longer. We had to give a lot of context. And this one, we create two tic-tac-toes with two different styles. And
Yeah,
the only disadvantage that didn't create all code at once, but
exactly.
it was crazy because It took us like a few minutes in comparison with ChatGPT. The difficult thing will be that if you are not so, let's say, so knowledgeable about what's going on here, about the code or the HTML code, you might have some issues to understand it, especially if there was the error or something like that.
Exactly.
That's for me the tricky thing, because some of these functions I've never used them before. Well, I have never even created so many images or so many symbols in real time. It's crazy that he is creating, I think, the circles in real time or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I never imagined something like that. It's quite wild code.
I still think that it would be great if like GitHub Copilot will be able to provide you the whole piece of code at once.
Let's see.
You don't need to go like line by line.
Let's try another case.
Yeah.
Maybe there is an option for that. Again, it's starting with the script. Okay, let's see what options do we have.
Yeah, that one. Synthesizing 0 out of 10 solutions.
Probably from here we can get, oh yeah, from here we can get full code.
Okay, great.
Yeah, here it provides us like so many different options and combinations. That is wild. Oh man.
Wow.
This it literally provides you the entire code. Let's check.
Yeah.
Let's check like this one to see what happens.
Yeah, this is different from the one we got before.
Yeah, but something seems.
Yeah. Something's missing there.
Yeah, something didn't go as expected.
Can you open the pane again? The GitHub Copilot?
It's loading yet still.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay. I think this is similar to the first version of the code that we got. Although I'm not sure actually.
I'm not so sure. Yeah, I think it's quite similar, to be honest. But I don't think it's the same.
Yeah, because in the other one we got like a series of buttons.
Yeah, this one has even these weird things, like even more advanced, I would say. But I think it's broken. I think something is missing here. This one failed. I don't know what is missing or what is not missing here.
Yeah, this attempt failed.
Something for sure is missing here. I think the init is not. It's not triggered probably. No. It's in the spec element. What is the error? Inner HTML properties of null. Div element ID with a 0. I have the feeling that this code probably should be down.
Exactly, at the bottom. That's a good feeling I got as well.
But it's not doing anything.
Still not doing.
I think that this code was not the best one, to be honest. So we can see that even GitHub Copilot can fail.
Yeah, that was not that successful.
Yeah. I want to see if I can get the.
Yeah, the list of solutions again. Oh.
Yeah. And let's try another one. Because the second one failed, so I'm not so sure if it's the best idea to copy and paste, like to accept these crazy solutions. Because here merge conflict marker cure. Okay. The second one seems like to be a complete code in my opinion, this one. Probably.
Enter row, enter column, enter player. Okay.
I don't think it's complete, to be honest. I think so.
Try it out. Just try it out.
But it's giving an error, like. Yeah, it's something is missing.
It's not defined.
Right, but I think it's the same, that this one should be probably above. Yeah, for example, here there is broken code. Enter out. Okay.
That was
weird.
A strange tic-tac-toe. I don't think that was a tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, I think that was something else. Because that was weird, really weird. That completely failed. The first two were perfect. The third one was terrible.
But you know, like the very first two, you made them auto-completing line by line.
Yeah, let's check this one as the last one to see if something works better.
Yeah, when every time, no, it's incomplete again.
Let's see if it, even if we do it like the old way, to see if it's correct, at least this time.
Well, you're like mixing both approaches, right? Because you got the first chunk of code.
Yeah, but now I don't think it's getting a tic-tac-toe, to be honest.
Draw bricks, draw lie. I'm not sure what kind of game is this.
I think it's a tic-tac-toe for sure, or is the most advanced tic-tac-toe I think I've ever seen.
Wow.
That doesn't seem, it's not working.
No, but like I think you still are missing something.
Only something is missing because
down there, because you don't have any HTML.
No, the HTML is here.
Oh, there's a canvas. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but I have no idea. Something is missing probably. Okay, you want to create a script, man? I don't think it's working, to be honest. I think it failed for the next time. Yeah. Like one last experiment, but I think it doesn't really work when you go in this approach. When you want to get the full code because something is missing in each of the attempts. I noticed that it provides you code, but I feel it more dangerous, this code, that especially when you have nothing.
And like, you see, like, okay, stop there for a minute. See line 59?
Yeah,
it's incomplete code.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check the next solution and see if it is like at least complete code. Merge conflicts. What does that mean? Like, where's Git? We didn't involve any Git at this point, so.
And this one looks very crazy. I think this is like a random game. Probably this one, it will be correct.
Wait.
Maybe this one works.
Okay, try it out.
Okay.
It's reading the numbers, but oh.
No, it's terrible. I don't think it's working. To be honest, I think that the previous attempts were better than this one.
Definitely. I
cannot agree that that the full code is a good idea when you have no, like, when you want to get like the full piece of code is bringing you like quite trashy code. If you give some context, it's capable of creating it as we saw it. It is very slow because you need to do line by line and do the tab.
Yeah, exactly. And like one of the things that surprises me is when you open this GitHub Copilot pane and you get these like thing solutions kind of. First of all, the solutions are incomplete. And second, you get a message telling you that there are merge conflicts. Like,
Yeah.
where are these merge conflicts coming from? What does that mean in your code actually?
Let me see if we can go back there and to analyze if we can get some information about those merge conflicts. Let's delete this magic. The first one in theory seems to be complete. No, here is the issue.
No. Yeah. And you see the last line, line 87, it's like flag 4 equals, and then it ends.
Merge conflict encountered. And when I do click in view problem, it tells you nothing.
You don't get any message?
This is merge conflict marker encountered.
Okay.
Then you can go to the next one, or and the last one you have something that is missing also. Yeah, and I think that when you copy one of these codes, probably something gets lost in between.
Yeah.
And so, for example, this one, I think that probably something else will be missing. Yeah, here you have it.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess something else is telling me that. So, for example, here, I think that even some code, and I think that it gets completely lost its context. Yeah, here Steve, table, R.
Okay, so now you're getting it with a table.
Let's see if we can get in full code when you do now.
Okay, should be the first one, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
My guess.
But it created a lot of extra
Okay.
code. Implement a tic-tac-toe. I'm not so sure if it's not.
No.
Thing is like, let's comment this section to, because I think it's gonna break everything, to be honest. Either one is gonna break it or the other. Start over. What? Not defined. Let's comment the second code then. Because it implemented something else or copy and clone it. I no idea what it did, because it added all this. Like in theory, it should have added only the table section, but why it created all this extra code that. Let's delete it. Now let's see. Oops, not working. Nothing happens. Because I cannot see the table anywhere. Let's see if I can track that table. Well, there is the table is here or somewhere. Oh, yeah.
Is it there?
Yeah, it is here somehow.
Somewhere.
Only some CSS is missing.
Yeah, looks like strong.
Yeah, something was generated.
Oh, there you go. You got the CSS. Zero wins. Okay, start over. X wins. X wins.
So yeah, it is working, but some context was missing because we had to guess the CSS was missing.
Yeah, somehow you managed to find out that there was a table in there.
Yeah, but the other random code that was generated completely broke everything.
Yeah, yeah, I saw it as well. Like,
Well, at least we know the code in the end works, but you have to guess what is happening, which is weird.
so Federico, I would like to compare the results we got from ChatGPT a couple of weeks ago and the results that we have seen right now. And I would like to start by specifying two things I noticed. There's like one positive and one negative of each approach. First of all, when we got the ChatGPT version of the tic-tac-toe, we just asked ChatGPT to create the code for us, and it basically gave us the full code at once.
Yeah.
Okay, that was like something very positive. Whereas where we follow this approach with GitHub Copilot, the times that it was right, we had to do it basically line by line. Now, the negative part was that on ChatGPT, on one side, we require several iterations in order to get the code right. We probably didn't have to guess that much because we just told ChatGPT that there was something missing, and ChatGPT told us, oh, yes, there's something wrong with my code, and it did some changes. But we had to do this process several times, right? For
Yeah.
many functions. And with GitHub Copilot, at least with the first two attempts we had, there was only one iteration,
Yeah.
and it worked perfectly the first time, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, but I saw the benefit of using GitHub Copilot, that you can have many different styles, many different implementations. We got 3 working right now. Probably we could have had also different different implementations using ChatGPT, but that will require a lot of work, most likely because of the several iterations that we had to go through. And in this one, only the last one was a little bit problematic because the CSS code was missing, but we still got it working,
Yeah.
right? And the very last 2 things that I would like to mention is that I was surprised that when we got these synthesized solutions that GitHub Copilot is offering to you, first, we got these merge conflicts. So that's kind of, I don't know, where does this come from?
But what does it mean?
Yeah, what does it actually mean? Was it like some code it was trained, this GitHub Copilot was trained on some code that was kind of cut off, or that the commit when this code was submitted had some merge conflicts? Probably. I'm just throwing throwing out some random guesses, right? But it's kind of strange to see these kind of messages when you got the offerings of the code. And because of this, because you cannot like get a full chunk of code at once, it seems to be not directly a plug and play approach that you can just like, okay, give me the first solution and yeah, it's working. It didn't work in our case, at least in our attempts.
Probably because we ask for a full piece of code. I think that if you were trying to get only one function, the likelihood will be smaller. Like, I don't know, if you want to calculate the average height of the Dutch people or something like that, I think you will get it quicker. But I think that the thing is that we were asking for a full piece of code, and the last one was over 100 lines. Probably that's why. And there is a limit. Because if you remember in ChatGPT, there was a limit in the amount of code that it can generate at once.
Oh yeah, the buffer had a limit. That's true.
Yeah, and probably that's the case, that there is a buffer limit.
Yeah, that's one possibility. It still does not answer the question why these merge conflicts are present in the solution.
There should be an option to generate the rest of the code or something like that.
Exactly. That would be like the best approach that you could get to get like the whole piece of code. And on the other hand, like you also had to guess this CSS, that there was some CSS missing.
Yeah.
Right. So you cannot say that you do not need like any knowledge, or that you can just like rely on the code that was given to you, right?
No. But I think that the difference between GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT is that GitHub Copilot has been thought for coders, so you should have guessed it. While ChatGPT, I feel it more like something that can empower kind of citizen developers, for people who are not coders and are creating code in these times. I think that they have like two different markets. I don't think that someone that doesn't know anything about coding will use GitHub Copilot, because it will be a difficult experience.
Yeah, that's something true. They have different markets, and GitHub Copilot is already a specialized tool for developers. So you're right, like developers have to have some knowledge about it. Still, some implementations that they offer you might not be within your domain of knowledge, as the one we saw that it was literally drawing the X and zeros like live. Yeah, that exactly. That was very specialized, I think. And so just to end, Federico, this episode of today, my question for you will be, what tool will you use for your next project? Will you use ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot?
ChatGPT.
And why?
Because it's easier. I can ask the same questions over and over again to get my expected outcome. It might not be the most reliable, but let's say that I have certain control after the code that I'm getting. While in the other is like I'm getting code, but since I have not like a big idea of the code, I can have issues. I will say that GitHub Copilot is a great tool when you probably have a full project from scratch. And in that context, I will use GitHub Copilot. But for now, maybe I'm just implementing some quick things, quick changes, and it'll be easier that ChatGPT can provide me some options that will be more, let's say, reasonable for me.
So if I understand your reasoning, it all depends like on the kind of project, of the kind of situation that you're developing.
Yeah. If you're like fully building something from scratch, it will be a good idea, but you need to also know the context, because let's suppose that you're building a mobile app, and for a pure one that is not using HTML or a web view or something like that, you might have some issues based on my experience if you need to build the XMLs or everything that Android requires.
Yeah.
Because you might not be able to get the code. And in that case, I think that probably ChatGPT will be quicker to give you an answer based on all the knowledge that it has. Because Android, in my experience, is a little bit tricky, even after like more than 10 years of being built, to create user interface. So it depends. If it's purely HTML, I think that GitHub Copilot is a great tool. But if you're building different kind of applications, not necessarily. You have building desktop apps, good luck. I don't think it's gonna give you the SAML code that you need, especially with all the magical changes that Microsoft is doing every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it all boils down to the situation. When there's like no context, just particular functions, maybe ChatGPT can be a great tool.
Yeah.
And when there's the context involved, then GitHub Copilot can be a great programming companion.
Yeah.
Great. And on that note, I think we can close the episode of today. We are cyber prophets. We are prophesizing the future of technology, and we're talking these days about a lot about AI. Don't forget to subscribe. We will bring you more innovative and disruptive topics next week, and see you then.